Stu Ungar, often regarded as one of the greatest poker players of all time, lived a life full of extraordinary triumphs and deep personal tragedies. Known for his unrivaled ability to read opponents and dominate card games, Ungar's story is not just one of poker glory, but also of addiction, financial ruin, and a turbulent personal life. This article delves deeper into the lesser-known and fascinating secrets of Stu Ungar, touching on his incredible rise to poker superstardom, the battles with his inner demons, and the complexities of his personal relationships, including his troubled marriage. A poker prodigy from the start. Born in 1953 in New York City, Stu Ungar was introduced to gambling at a young age. His father, Isidore, was a bookmaker and loan shark, and Ungar grew up surrounded by the world of underground gambling. It didn't take long for his talents to emerge. By the age of 10, he had already started playing gin rummy, and it was quickly apparent that he had an extraordinary memory and aptitude for card games. Unlike most players who relied on strategies and experience, Ungar had an almost photographic memory, allowing him to remember every card played in a game. This remarkable ability set him apart from an early age, mastering gin rummy and making enemies. Before becoming a poker legend, Ungar was a feared player in the world of gin rummy. In his teens, he took on the best players in New York and Las Vegas, demolishing them with ease. His dominance was so overwhelming that many high-stakes gin rummy players refused to play against him, claiming it was pointless to compete with someone of his caliber. He could recall every card played in a match, making him nearly invincible. Eventually, his success in gin rummy dried up simply because no one was willing to face him. This forced Ungar to shift his focus to poker, where he would later make his mark. Transitioning to poker, the real challenge. Stu Ungar's move from gin rummy to poker was inevitable, given his competitive nature and desire for bigger challenges. His first major poker event was the 1980 World Series of Poker, WSOP, where he shocked the world by winning the main event at just 27 years old. Ungar's aggressive style, keen ability to read opponents, and fearless betting were unlike anything the poker world had seen. His victory that year was just the beginning of a career that would see him win 3 WSOP Main Event titles, a record only matched by a few. A true-blood personal life, the marriage that fell apart. Amid his poker success, Stu Ungar's personal life was far from stable. He married a woman named Madeline Wheeler, and they had a daughter, Stephanie, in 1982. However, their marriage was plagued by Ungar's lifestyle of gambling, drug addiction, and erratic behavior. While Ungar was a genius at the poker table, he struggled with the basic responsibilities of marriage and fatherhood. His addiction to cocaine and other drugs caused severe tension in his relationship with Madeline, leading to frequent arguments and ultimately their separation. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of Ungar's personal life was his distant relationship with his daughter. Although he loved Stephanie deeply, his addictions and chaotic lifestyle prevented him from being the father she needed. Despite his fame and fortune, Ungar's personal demons overshadowed his ability to maintain meaningful relationships, and his marriage ended in divorce. Even after the divorce, Madeline remained a figure in his life, helping him financially and emotionally during his darkest moments. But the toll of his behavior had already damaged their relationship beyond repair. Before continuing the biography of this genius poker player, subscribe to our poker strategy and get to know the world of poker. The hidden struggles with addiction. Stu Ungar's battles with addiction are perhaps the most tragic aspect of his life. His success in poker brought him wealth, but it also brought easy access to drugs, particularly cocaine, which he quickly became addicted to. Ungar's drug use was no secret in the poker world. Fellow players and friends often found him snorting cocaine in bathrooms during tournaments, and his erratic behavior became more apparent over the years. Despite his undeniable genius at the poker table, drugs took a heavy toll on his physical and mental health. By the late 1980s, his addiction had spiraled out of control, and he began losing massive amounts of money on gambling and drugs. He would often win millions in poker only to blow it all within days on sports betting and high-stakes gambling. His friends and fellow players tried to help him, but Ungar's self-destructive tendencies were too powerful to overcome. The Prodigy and subtle div. In 1997, after years of battling his addiction, Stu Ungar made a surprise return to the World Series of Poker. His friends funded his entry fee, and despite his frail and sickly appearance, Ungar once again displayed his poker brilliance. He dominated the tournament and won the WSOP Main Event for the third time, cementing his place in poker history. However, the victory was bittersweet. Ungar looked physically unrecognizable, with significant weight loss and missing teeth due to years of drug abuse. Ungar's victory in 1997 would be his last. Less than a year later, in 1998, he was found dead in a Las Vegas hotel room from a heart condition exacerbated by his years of drug use. He was only 45 years old. Ungar's death was a tragic end to the life of a man who had reached the heights of poker stardom, but was ultimately undone by his personal demons. The genius who couldn't manage money. Despite winning millions of dollars over the course of his career, Stu Ungar was almost always broke. His inability to manage money became legendary within the poker community. Ungar's addiction to gambling was so severe that he would bet on anything. Sports, races, even random events. He frequently borrowed money from friends, and despite his immense success in poker, he was often in debt. One of the most shocking secrets about Ungar was that he could never hold on to his winnings. His reckless gambling and drug habits meant that millions of dollars slipped through his fingers over the years. He is often remembered as the man who could win any poker hand, but couldn't manage the money that came with it. The poker legacy. A lasting influence. Despite his tragic end, Stu Ungar's legacy in the world of poker is everlasting. He is still regarded as one of the greatest poker minds in history. His ability to read players, his fearless aggression, and his dominance at the poker table are still studied by aspiring poker professionals today. Ungar's story is both an inspiration and a cautionary tale. A reminder of the heights that can be reached through talent and the depths to which a person can fall when addiction takes over. The emotional impact of his loss. Ungar's death left a profound impact on the poker world. Many who knew him saw his demise coming from miles away, but it still hurt deeply when it finally happened. His daughter Stephanie, who had been distanced from him for much of her life due to his addictions, was left without a father. She has since spoken about the love she felt for him and the pain of losing him, despite his many shortcomings. The genius and the tragedy. Stu Ungar's life was a complex mix of brilliance and chaos. His unmatched talent at the poker table earned him a place in the history books, but his inability to escape the demons of addiction and personal struggle led to his tragic downfall. Ungar's story is a stark reminder of how even the most gifted individuals can be consumed by their own self-destructive tendencies. Today, he is remembered not just as one of the greatest poker players of all time, but also as a tragic figure whose life was cut short by the very addictions that fueled his rise and contributed to his fall.